Welcome, everybody, to the Investing or Gambling Podcast. I am your host, Ileana Mike, and I'm here with an old co-host, old buddy of mine, Mr. Synonymous, Golfwinch himself. Say hello, Golfwinch.
Hello, how's it going?
Hey, we got the Dow Jones Industrial Average just absolutely going bananas, 34,433. The good old NASDAQ, everything's all-time highs here, folks, 14,360, and the S&P is sitting at 4,280. The Russell 3000 is at 2,334. Let's get right to it. You know, the market at all-time highs.
Wait a minute. Time out.
Yeah?
You didn't give us you gave us all the average. Those are the old numbers. We need to know like what's really going on. We need the gold, the silver, the Bitcoin. And
well, if we start looking at commodities, we've got oil sitting at $74 a barrel.
Okay,
we have gold at 17,081, silver 2619. Commodities are all pretty much up there. We have Bitcoin, I believe, is at 31,000 and change right now. Okay. We have Ethereum.
And one other one.
What's the other
coin
you
look
like?
up? Are you able to look up where you're at? What the U.S. debt is? Remember, we used to look up that debt clock. I don't remember what it was at back then, but it was somewhere in the 20 billions.
22 billion trillion.
20 billion. No, it was 20. It was 20 something trillion. So check it out. It's debtclock.org, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's no problem.
That should be comical because it's been a while since we revisited that.
Oh, the debt clock. It's wonderful. National debt clock. We are looking at, oh my goodness. Oh, here we are. What do you think the national debt? We're at 28 trillion, 451 billion. 600
crack into the 30s.
Oh, it's cracking real heavy. Debt per citizen, 85,000. Debt per taxpayer, 226,000. You know what's
clowns in Congress are writing checks they can't cash.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So there's only 2.1 quadrillion, or if you want the trillion, there's only 2,100 trillion satoshis in existence right now.
Okay.
Just to give you, because we're playing with crazy numbers, so I figure I'd spit out a couple of crazy ones.
Yeah.
And there isn't any more going to be printed.
So
ever.
Okay.
So it's not debt. They're not issuing debt. It's not a Ponzi scheme. They can increase the debt. That 28 trillion, which will be 2,100 trillion before you know it, is just going to expand as the economy grows or the people grow. We're going to expand and contract on the way we see fit. That's what the board of directors does. These clowns get together and decide how much money they're going to print.
Okay.
So they're basically debasing every other person out there that is holding a US dollar. And if you don't see that, then you're not watching price signals.
So are you saying that Bitcoin is a store of value, or is it a form of a currency?
It's both. But yes, it's the best currency. And it's actually the best store of value right now. Currency, I would argue that I'd rather have cash in my pocket at a bar, especially if they're not accepting Bitcoin.
Well,
how the hell are you going to buy a drink?
Exactly.
So, yeah, store of value, I guess. But as far as currency, I'd rather have that currency than the US dollar on Bitcoin Beach.
Okay.
But that's one place in the whole world.
Right.
But as far as US dollars and Bitcoin, I have them both on my phone, and they're both attached to a debit card. Matter of fact, I have a debit card that when I spend money, I get Satoshis back as a what do you call it?
Like
Kickback,
like a reward program?
Yeah, rewards program. It's
Okay.
a Fold.app, or it's a Fold app that Will Rivas started. Just another innovative thing going on, and I don't even know the guy. I stumbled upon it, and
Right.
I'm always trying stuff like that out. But we should probably bring back the podcast into where we were going to talk about a few things.
Well, let me
I
ask you
went off
something.
on a tangent there.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think, as we look at our economy right now, and you're out there out west, and I'm out here in the Midwest, I see things just absolutely going crazy here. Now, do I think that we are going to, what I find that's a disconnect, I do think that there's a big disconnect right now between the stock market and the economy. And what I mean by that is I think asset prices are very, very, very inflated, and that the economy is just starting to come back to its where we were before the pandemic. Okay. And if you get back to that January 2000, or I should say December 2019, where we had pretty much full employment, where we had interest rates relatively low, and we had productivity was running pretty high. We had everybody that pretty much had a job from the bottom up. Everybody's wages were going up. They weren't going up as they are now. Because I mean by that is because we've got businesses right now that cannot find workers to do even the simplest jobs. As far as anything in small business right now, they're starving for people.
Way worse out here than you're talking about. I just this morning went to breakfast at Tiffany's in San Francisco and had to walk out. I'm a single guy, was going to eat at the bar. They're so swamped, busy. The to-go orders were backed up an hour. They're just people in there running everywhere.
Because they don't have enough people in there to take care of it.
They ain't got enough people, and no one's going to work a restaurant like that for the amount of money they're, it's not worth their time.
Well,
the government pays them just to save them out. Sit home.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what they want. Why go to work?
What do you think's going to happen with this? Why are we getting these inflated? What does it cost out there for what's a gallon of gas running right now?
You have to take a way bigger picture. You're getting way too narrow and anecdotal.
Okay.
What you got to think of is the government is for the state. They want to increase the state's budget always. That's just modus operandi. You have rich people that want more government to protect their wealth.
Yeah.
So everything is pointing to more control, more government, and they're going to pay off the plebs, throw them a little bread with UBI. That's an acronym, they say, because they don't want to say universal basic income because it's very, very taboo when you got still some middle class. They've all been decimated. The middle class is more like the broke people, but they don't want to say it yet because they have a little pride. But the middle class is going to get kicked right down into the bottom rung because their peanuts are not going to be worth as much. And the quintillionaires are just going to get richer because all their assets are going to increase in more value than the currency is going to be debased, because the economy is going to explode right now.
Right now it is, yeah.
It's exploding. Everyone's still in masks in San Francisco because they're all about the state. The state is religion out here. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Religion is Midwest. They still pray to God. Out here, they've given up on God. They want the check.
Right. Yeah. In God we trust. Everybody else pays cash.
Yeah, which is just as good as money.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at this whole situation, and I've even talked to another guest host we're going to probably have on next week. And we've got inflation that's just of control, not only in products that we buy and everything we consume. Our asset prices are continuing to skyrocket. To me, it's because of just all the money they've been throwing at this economy. If the economy is running so well, why do we keep throwing money at it? Why are we continuing to see this administration constantly saying, we got to go big or go home and we need to spend? The last time they tried an infrastructure infrastructure bill was back during the Obama days, when 800 billion was supposed to go to infrastructure. A few potholes were fixed here and there. And then he came out and said, the shovel-ready jobs, they never really occurred. My question is, what happened to the $800 billion? If we never got an infrastructure and we never had shovel-ready jobs, did they return that money to the Treasury? They did not. No. So I think we have the same situation now. I think they're looking to pass an infrastructure bill that they want to do on a bipartisan basis. And then the president came out and whispered and said, wait a minute, I'm not giving you that unless I get my big bill. We're going to go through reconciliation. And the Republicans were like, what? What do you mean? You never said that before. Now he's like, no. You can have that, but down the road, I get this, or I ain't signing anything. So I think that we're not going to get any type of stimulus or infrastructure bill, real infrastructure. They're calling infrastructure now childcare, where my daughter now is going to get $600 a month, every month for her 2 kids. All right.
That's infrastructure now.
That's infrastructure. Yes, it is, sir. That's infrastructure.
I don't know what they're building.
Right. They're building a, universal basic income. That's
a socialistic society masquerading as a democratic or free country.
Yes. Absolutely.
Wait till you have to roll around with your CBDCs in your phone with your vaccine passport just to get through the state borders or whatever.
Right.
Who knows what they're going to go to, the control, basically I see it as just one big control grab,
Yeah.
People get COVID and COVID exists, but it is a messed up version of a flu.
It's the messed up version of a flu, right?
Yeah, you can call it what you want. It's probably a flu created in a lab with gain of function with Dr. Fauci's underlings and whoever knows. All the conspiracy theories are so confusing, and what they do is confuse the truth and make it seem crazy. Then you see Epstein dead, supposedly committing suicide in jail.
How about McAfee?
Nobody. Yeah, McAfee just got whacked. Oh yeah, I'm sure
he
did.
Over tax evasion.
Himself. Yeah, he killed himself because he didn't pay his taxes.
That's yeah. I didn't file income
killing
tax
me,
for 3 years.
Francis.
Right. I didn't pay income tax for 3 years, and now I got to go back to the United States. You know what? I'm just going to hang myself.
Yeah. Who knows what happened with him? And he's probably a little kooky bird anyway, but he's still, a smart guy who did whatever. But then you just heard the recent thing about the Julian Assange setup. Like the guy admitted that it was all a lie. Something about he was coerced into lying about it.
Well, they know that anybody that goes against them, they're going to try to silence. And when you try to silence somebody, that just tells me that they're right.
You're starting to look at heroes in the story, and Snowden is, coming up as he was banned for espionage. Now he looks like the frickin',
he's a hero.
Like
he's
Paul
right.
Revere and shit.
Exactly. They're coming.
They're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Hey, they're listening.
And that's what they're
all
doing.
coming.
They're
and now
coming.
they're starting the domestic terrorists. They're gonna make all the badass people that would have protected this country to the death of them.
Yes.
Outlaws. That's what they're gonna do.
Well, let's face it. I'm a conservative. I've always been a conservative, not all the time, but I've been pretty much. I've kind of laid up in the middle a little bit at times in my life. I voted for Clinton the second time around. I voted for Clinton because I didn't care for the Republican that was running against him, Bob Dole. I never did. I just didn't care for the other guy, and I voted for him. And I felt good voting for him. But in the last couple elections, I did not like John McCain when he was running against Barack Obama. I knew that he was going to be a loser. I mean, did I vote for him? It was kind of like, how Democrats always vote for Democrats. Okay. Yeah. They don't care who's running. Okay. Charles Manson.
Well, you could say the exact same thing about a Republican, though.
To a certain extent, yes. Okay. and I kind of pulled that lever just like them too. All right. So, but that's just the way it goes. But let's talk about the market. Have you been following the market lately?
Just real quick, back to your Republican Democrat. What it is everyone has it in their head that they identify with one or the other.
Right.
And that's the problem. The partisanship has gone out the window. There's no agreeance. If Trump says ivermectin or hydrochloroquine works, well, fuck that. Those do not work. And whoops. I mean, heck with all that jazz.
Right, exactly.
Sorry about the cursing, folks.
That's all right.
I'm living in California. I'm used to hearing it.
I'm sure.
No, that's.
But yes, that's very true. So we do talk about the market on the show. What do you think the market is? Do you believe that we are in for some very hyperinflation, and that sooner or later this market may decide that, when in my eyes, I don't know if the market seems to be on edge a little bit, but I don't know if they're so afraid of the Fed as they are of this administration. I think the market may be actually fearing this administration being so rogue that they are, when they campaigned on being unifying and bipartisan, and they're nothing like that anymore. So I think that we need different leadership in this country. Yes, I think that may be a really big problem getting it, because they put in who they want, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, we need to rid ourselves of the control.
Oh,
there's so much control going on because of the monetary system. I mean,
yeah.
How is it that, a handful of families, or maybe two handfuls and 2 feet full of families, own the money?
Yeah.
And are controlling the world like Kublai Khan did when he invented the fiat.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the world is using the US dollar in general, but if they're not, they're using the other stuff. Yeah. It's all fiat, and it's all created by the people in power.
The central banks keep printing it and printing it.
So it doesn't matter how much you make, spend, do whatever. It's all a made up thing that they control, you with.
Yeah.
It's pretty evident it was needed, and it worked for centuries, but the industrial age is over. If all the boomers had woken up to the industrial age being over and the information age starting, then everyone would be using Bitcoin. But we need that industrial age fiat system to hold on as long as we can, because the transition will not be nice.
Right.
If it goes away, like it collapses right now, we need to have a long drawn out dollar depreciation, not a hyperinflation. There's no secret. The dollar's depreciating. Okay, yeah, we get it. It's depreciating at a rate in between 2 and 10%. If that escalates to 50% a year, we're in deep, deep trouble.
Absolutely.
And that's how that could happen. That's hyperinflation.
Right.
I'm not saying it's happening. in the next 10 years.
Oh,
but I hope it doesn't happen in the next 10 years.
right. Maybe it could happen faster than that.
It could, because it's a graph that looks like, well, it looks like Bitcoin.
Right.
Have you ever seen Bitcoin? You look at the graph.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the inverse looks like in fiat.
Right.
Because it goes quicker when people lose faith in it. And
Right.
that's the demise of currency. And you're seeing the progression of that worldwide, not in the US, obviously, because it's money by decree in the
Right.
United States, but we're only 5% of the world.
Right. That's true.
If everyone stops using our currency, we're going to be 5% of the world's currency.
Unbelievable. Well, what do you think? Do you have any suggestions as far as what you would be investing in your money in today?
Yeah, I would invest in Bitcoin with at least 50% of your net worth. And that is financial advice.
All right.
I don't have anyone to answer to, so I could care less. And I've just taken permission of my own sovereignty. I'm not waiting.
Well, I think so too. I do think that the market is on average for the last 100 years goes up anywhere from 7 to 10%. We have exceeded that average big time by about 3 or 4 fold right now. In the last year, we're up almost 45% since the March lows of 2000. So we have exceeded that 4 times over. That's like 4 years of gains on average that we just had in about 14 months. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a prognosticator guy that can sit there and say what's going to happen. I don't like what's going on. I think that the Fed is totally out of control. I believe inflation is here to stay. What they call transitory, I believe some things may be slightly transitory, like oil, like the price of corn, like the price of, of soybeans, lumber, steel.
First of all, when you say transitory, you have to define it, because that's obfuscation.
Well, transitory could be 3-4 years.
Well, transitory, the meaning in general, it's a big word that gets thrown around, just like inflation. It's the same thing. It's
right.
They're meant to obfuscate reality, which is they're stealing our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's labor served, labor paid. So you go to work, whether you're digging ditches, hanging signs, serving breakfast to someone. When you do that, you want your labor to be saved up so you can spend it with someone else that's going to serve you.
Right.
Serving other people. Certificates of appreciation, mind you. We can call it that. If somebody offers you 2 currencies, and mind you, there's a split test going on in El Salvador. If somebody hands you 2 currencies and says, we're going to debase this one by 2 to 10% per year, if we're lucky, and this one is going to fluctuate wildly, but goes up in general at about 200% per year in reference to the dollar, because that's what they use over there. Right. Most people are going to probably choose Bitcoin once they learn the facts about everything. Right. If I'm a betting man, that's what I'm going to guess, that the AB split test is going to end badly for the US dollar. And then everyone's going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on over here? And then they're going to start paying attention. Yeah. And that's what they do not want. Right. No, they don't want you to pay attention and start reading books on Bitcoin. The US dollar is in trouble. Big time. They don't teach you this in the schools, folks. No, they don't. None of the high schools. That's why this show is investing or gambling. Absolutely. Well,
I think that if I was an investor right now, you're right. I might put some money into some Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency. Maybe I don't know if I'd go quite 50%, but I think I'd probably use anywhere from 5 to 10% maybe. And I would
That's a
maybe
start.
wait for it to come down a little bit. I think it will. I think it could probably settle in somewhere in the 20s. And then maybe we'll see what happens and goes from there.
Oh, you're
Breaking up. Yeah.
breaking up. Perception. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we got to, well, I've got tornadoes in the area right now.
Oh, okay.
But anyways,
You were saying you were starting to prognosticate on Bitcoin, I think.
I said that I would not put 50% of my assets in it. I think I would put 5 to 10% of my assets in it. And I would put the rest in certain assets of dividend paying stocks that I think will never go away. I like all the commodities right now. I like the fact that there's too many people out there trying to hit home runs as far as, they want to, the meme stocks are completely out of whack. This gambling that's going on in the market right now in certain areas, to me, I think is going to end up badly. Very, very, when I couldn't tell you if it could be Monday that AMC would drop back down 50%. A lot of this is being controlled by too many people with a lot of money. If you're a small investor, if you're a young investor right now, don't start out trying with meme stocks and stuff like that. Take a little bit of money, get it in a 401k, put it in an IRA. If you want to invest it yourself, buy things that you know are going to be there. Buy some of the Dow 30 stocks, buy stocks that pay dividends, and don't look at it. Forget about it. Walk away. I look at it every day. If you're waiting for money to just come falling in your lap, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Other than working for it, it's not going to just happen.
You have to provide value to the world.
Right.
Somehow, some way. And then people will pay you for it. You won't even have to, if you figure out a way to serve someone who's more wealthy than you,
right?
Especially if they're way more wealthy than you.
Yeah.
They're just like you. They have a bunch of things they need done and they don't have enough time to do it.
Correct.
If your time's less, if their time's more valuable than yours, which means they're making a lot more money,
right?
Then serve them, you'll make a ton of money.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to think of it.
Well, I've always thought of it
stored in
way.
Bitcoin.
Exactly. Well, folks, thanks for listening. We're going to get back to you again. We're going to try to do this podcast every week. I'm going to have on different hosts once a week, and me and Golfwinch here are going to try to keep this podcast going. He's also going to do another podcast of his own. Hopefully,
let's not commit to that right away.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get that going.
But the Investing or Gambling podcast, you can find us on the website. You can find us on Simplycast, and we will be on Apple and Spotify shortly. Google will also be driving our podcast, and we will see you next week. Thanks again, folks. Next week, we'll have on one of my guests from the southern region of the country, and then I will have on another guest from the eastern portion of our country. With that said, folks, keep it easy, watch your money, and we'll see you next week.
Right on. Take care, guys.
You got it. Take it easy. Thanks a lot, Golfwinch.
All right. Thanks for having me.